Hello everybody, my name is Marlowe and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival, where I'm currently riding the rail line that we built in the last episode that goes all the way around our mountain survival base, and eventually, once we get through this tunnel here, will bring us back round nicely to the center at the train station, where we have a floating goat. Yes, he's very magical, yes, he is majestic, and no, he is not the focus of today's episode, so we're going to leave him be. Today, what I would like to do is try my best to make some serious progress on our survival base when it comes to finishing it, ? So ideally, I would like to build all over this mountain range here, but for now, so far in the series, we've kind of just been working on this specific stretch of the mountain. And as far as buildings are concerned, there's not really much more I actually want to do around here. With the exception of some more custom trees, possibly a little bit more landscaping and terraforming, as well as some pathways to try my best to connect up all of the buildings here so it all looks a bit more well put together. So that's the plan for today, and yes, I'm currently oxidizing some copper behind me. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to finish all of that, that's why I've kind of put a question mark on the whole episode today, because I honestly don't know if I'm going to have the time to build custom trees and pathways and do all of, everything else in one episode. I've only got so much time, but I'm going to try my darndest to get as much done as possible. I should also mention there's a couple of spots like over here, for instance, as well as over here that I want to put some sort of building in, but not really any that are of a reasonable size. They're only going to be very small little things, so that's just something I can come back to at a later stage. So the first thing we're going to be doing in today's episode is making all of the pathways, because of course I don't want it to just be snow everywhere, or powdered snow in some cases, which by the way, is the worst thing in the mountains. I hate it. It's everywhere. It's far too frequent. I've ranted about this before, so I'm going to shut up right now. So we need to make the pathways as the first thing for today's episode. The trouble is, I haven't decided on my pathway design just yet. Actually, that's a lie. I have decided. I just haven't informed you guys of my decision just yet. So if you guys can remember, a couple of episodes ago, I had 4 different pathway design options for you all to pick from. I even set up a poll on my Twitter account, which has now finished, and we had 261 votes in total, so plenty of people have voiced their opinion on this. So the options were a spruce pathway with some spruce trapdoors, spruce planks and stripped spruce logs. We also had a brick, granite and dripstone pathway, and then we had the stony pathway, which just has a bunch of different stone types in, and then the option D was a basalt and deep slate combination. So option A, the spruce pathway, had 12.3%, pretty low. But even lower was option B, the granite, brick and dripstone pathway had 9.6%. Option C, the stone pathway, was a lot higher at 43.3%, and if you can do some very quick maths, you will realize that option D, the basalt and deep slate, had 34.9%, which means option C was the winner. Option D did come surprisingly close. I really did not think you guys would like it as much as you did, but from reading some of your comments, I get why, and I was very, very tempted to pick it, but I'm gonna choose the one that you guys also chose, the stone pathway. And the main reason why is because I would like the pathway going through the mountain here to look as natural as possible, and whilst the deep slate and the spruce and the brick and the granite pathways all looked very nice, that wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. The reason why I like the stone pathway so much is because if I was to walk around this area, kind of sticking to the pathways, I'd probably break through the snow and end up walking on a stone pathway. Obviously, I want to add in some more blocks so it's not just stone. We're going to mix in some calcite and some diorite and that sort of thing to make it seem kind of snowy. So yeah, that's my reasoning for picking option C. Hopefully you guys agree. Well, I know 43-point-something% of you do anyway. I am going to slightly change up the block palette of the pathway, however. Originally we had some tuff, which I've now decided I don't really like all that much, plus it's pretty tough to get a hold of, pun intended. So instead we're going to go with this block palette. We got some stone, we got andesite, diorite, calcite, and either cobble or gravel. potentially both, but I don't really want to use too many blocks, otherwise it's just going to take ages and it's going to look too detailed. So I want to kind of have fewer blocks if possible. So I may honestly use neither and just have these 4 blocks, as well as the snow, I guess, technically would be kind of in the pathway as well, because we're going to be blending it into the natural snow that's here. So technically 5, I guess. But I feel like we could maybe use some cobblestone in there as well, just potentially not too much of it. I don't really know what I'm going to pick just yet. I think I'm just going to start building the pathways, and I might add more blocks or take blocks away as I build it and see what it looks like. So let's get some blocks together and cue the path building time lapse. So the pathway is done, with the exception of some slabs and stairs I want to add on the changing Y levels, just to make it all a little bit smoother. But I have just realized there's a bit of a problem with where we're currently located, and that is, if it snows, my pathway disappears entirely. Thankfully, the gods have decided not to snow on me whilst I was building all of this, so what I very quickly need to now go and do is grab tons and tons of string and basically place it on every single stone block you can see. Now that's not ideal, because you can still see string. It's very, very hard to see, but you can see it. And you can also see the hitbox when you glance over it. So when I'm actually walking along this pathway, it's not gonna look the best, but in all honesty, I have an elytra. I'm gonna be flying everywhere. I'm going to be looking at this pathway from far away, more so than I am up close. So, I mean, it's either a string-covered pathway or no pathway at all. I think I know what I'm going to pick. Thankfully, I have a mob farm which produces a lot of string, so I have quite a bit on me here, as well as a whole shulker box full. So, yeah, I should have enough, hopefully. Yeah, it's not really ideal, is it? Being able to see all of these hitboxes like this. However, it's very hard to see the string, which is a bonus. It's even darker or lighter in my texture pack, so you can't really see it at all, honestly, which is perfect. But the hitboxes, yeah, you can definitely see them. But as long as I don't go around punching the air, which I do quite a lot, it should be fine. So that is it for the pathways for now. You may notice there's a couple of sections where it just kind of stops, like here, for example. I kind of want to make a bridge going over. I'm not sure if that's going to work. If it doesn't, I'll just fill in this hole in the terrain and carry on as normal. We also have another stoppage at the top here. Oh boy, that sheep is stranded. Maybe I should help you out. Yeah, I'm going to leave you there. Last time I tried to help an animal in this world, it ended poorly. I'm going to assume that the sheep wants to stay on the cliff. But at the end of the pathway here leading up to the observatory, it just stops. I'm thinking, instead of changing out these snow blocks to the stone blocks, we could have some sort of walkway around here with some sort of railing, you know, just going on round to this point, and then we can lead up to the observatory. Just something that's a little bit different and can break away from the pathway that we have. We're also going to do a similar thing for these 3 builds, the starter house, the mega bridge, and the watermill, but that's not going to be for today. I can already tell I've bitten off a bit more than I can chew for this episode, so I don't really want to overwork myself. But eventually, instead of having a pathway from the bridge down to the factory here in this pathway, I'm going to have some sort of bridge going kind of down the cliff face here. I think that's going to be more well suited as opposed to terraforming it for a pathway, like I said. Also a similar thing from the starter house down to the watermill. But if this is not making sense, just trust the process and believe me that hopefully I'll be able to get it looking nice and smooth and well connected. Just not in this episode. Also, quick question for you guys. What do you think we should build behind here? Yep, there is a little section behind this waterfall that I've been saving for some sort of build, and I don't know what it should be, so let me know what you think we should place behind the waterfall here down in the comments below. I think before I get started on any kind of custom trees or other bits of landscaping, I'm gonna finish off those two sections I just talked about. The railing along the side of the observatory mountain here and this little bridge section. No promises I'll be able to even do anything with this, but I'm gonna give it a go and I'll report back afterwards. So the bridges are done, and yes, they're pretty basic, but they look perfectly fine and they function perfectly well. So I'm pretty happy to call this section of the mountain done as far as the pathways are concerned, which means now we're ready to move on to the custom trees. Which I can't say I'm particularly looking forward to, which is strange because usually I don't mind building these custom trees. They're actually kind of okay. The design is from King Z, as I've mentioned before on my channel here. They're perfectly fine to build. There's a pattern I can follow and I kind of enjoy it, but this that you can see right here, all of these trees, like 9 of them, took me nearly an hour to build. I have a lot more land to fill up. So I'm probably not going to go too crazy with adding in loads and loads of trees. I'm going to keep them pretty sporadic, but hopefully I can manage to fill up this area of the mountain we've been working on with the pathways with some lovely looking spruce trees. And just like that, we are finished. And oh my goodness, is it looking a whole lot better around here. Now we've got the trees and the pathways and everything else added in. I really do love it. I may not particularly enjoy the process of building custom trees unless there's like 1 or 2 that I'm doing. I made maybe 20 or 30 here, so it's a bit more than a couple, but I do love the finished look. It is definitely worth the grind to build these. I think I spent just under 2 hours doing all of that, so not too bad really. Unfortunately, that does rule out the thought of doing any work with this section of the mountain. I was hoping I maybe would have a little bit of time left at the end of this episode here once we got all of this done, but I sadly do not. I'm actually going away on a very short trip at the end of this week to Dubrovnik in Croatia, just for 3 days. I'll probably be there at the time you guys are watching this video actually, but obviously that's 2 or 3 days that I don't have time to record. So even though it is a very short trip, there's still some extra work that I need to do this week, hence why I think we're gonna have to call it there for today's episode. As far as building is concerned, I should have been more clear. We're only like 13 minutes into the episode. We're not ending just yet. We're gonna go do something else that isn't related to the base here. So I would like to go on a little bit of an adventure. The trouble is, I'm not sure what kind of adventure I would like to take. I've got a few options in mind. I'm just trying to pick which one. Option 1 is to head to the Nether and raid the bastion that I mentioned 1 or 2 episodes ago. We can maybe go get a copy of Pigstep, which would be cool, and maybe die in the process, which would not be so cool. Or we could go on a bit more of a relaxed adventure, just heading out into the wilderness and seeing what we find along the way, not really heading to a certain destination. Or we could head out into the wilderness, but with a bit of an aim, maybe heading towards a biome that we haven't found before, or possibly something like a woodland mansion. I'm not sure. I would ask you guys for your opinion, but obviously time doesn't really work that way. Whilst I ponder on my decision and decide what to do, I thought we could go ahead and update the map, seeing as we've made quite a lot of progress today. So at the moment, the map doesn't really have any sort of landscaping on. I don't even think we've got up here. Oh no, we do, but you know why it doesn't look that way? It's because all of the trees are covered in snow. So, to be honest with you, this may not actually look much different. As always, here is the before and here is the after. So there was actually quite a lot of change there, especially where the pathways are concerned. We can really see them, which is super cool. Of course, eventually we will connect it to this stuff over here and eventually down to the greenhouse. But for right now, I would say this little section that we've worked on today, I'm actually pretty happy with it. I would nearly call it complete. I say nearly because when is anything ever complete in Minecraft? There's always more to add in, and that I'm sure I will do throughout the course of this series. You know what? I've decided I am gonna be brave today. Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and take on that bastion in the Nether. So let me gather up some supplies and I will meet you there. Well, here we are at the bastion. I'm pretty much ready to drop myself in here. I've gotten all of my stuff together. Fire resistant potion in case I fall in that stuff. And we've got a gold helmet which we should probably put on, as well as my chest plate. So I can't fly, so I don't need rockets actually. I've got the hopper for getting stuff out of the chest so we don't have to open it up and anger all of the pigmen, piglins, whatever they're called. They're all kind of the same to me. Where is everybody? This is going to be the easiest bastion raid ever if it's as empty as this is. Oh no, we got some guys over there. Hoglins too. These are the guys that I'm actually scared of because they can deal some serious damage, but then again, so can I. And honestly, I've been thinking, I don't really know why I have this helmet on. I don't care if these guys attack me. They're not that strong. I can probably deal with them. Hopefully that's not some famous last words. Something I would like to grab when I can is this gilded blackstone because it is a gorgeous block and very, very rare. Oh no. We're fine. We're fine. Everybody calm down. Well, if I'm not wearing a helmet and I'm just grabbing the gilded blackstone like it's nothing, I probably don't need the hopper either. So, oh, war pigs. What is that? That's a new achievement. Loot the chest in the bastion remnant. Okay, is there anything actually good in this stuff? Like, why am I here? I know pig step I can get, and I guess the gilded blackstone. It's a fun time. That's the main thing. Found another chest, and inside, a mending pickaxe. That's not actually that big a deal to me. I have a mending villager, but still, kind of cool. I'll take the axe too, because why not? You know, there's something I've forgotten about with these bastions, and that is the piglin brute. I haven't seen it or fought it, of course, since they added it in 1.16 point whatever it was. Are you the piglin brute? No, you're not. You're just a regular old piglin. So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit scared of that guy too. But if I'm in a chest with a bunch of ancient debris, I will take that. Hello, sir. You must die. I have truly gotten lost in the depths of these caves that I honestly had no idea were here. But they're kind of cool and a little bit terrifying because honestly, I don't know what's coming around every corner. Other than some beautiful gilded blackstone. I'm taking every single bit of this that I can find. You're not taking it from me. Give that back. And I'll take all of this stuff too. I made it back to the main bastion fortress here. Finally got out of those caves. And another chest with even more gilded blackstone. I honestly don't need half the stuff I'm getting from this. I know there's different bastion types. Am I at the wrong one to get myself a copy of Pigstep? I may be. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. We actually might be done here. That was a little underwhelming, I'll be honest, but I think this is quite a small bastion, so that's probably why. So what I'm going to do is fly out of here and actually over, careful, over to a ruined portal I just saw. Maybe find some cool loot here, potentially. Nope, but we're going to get out of there right away. I didn't even have time to look in the chest. Hopefully there was nothing good, because I am not going back. What I'm going to do is fly around and maybe see if I can find another one and real quickly raid that too. I have found myself another bastion. This one definitely is a little bit different in design. It's got the big walkway in the middle here. That Enderman is mad at me, which already makes me more nervous than I want to be. But hey, let me quickly speed run this and hopefully we can get some cool stuff. And more importantly, not die. I think that is the bastion fully raided, so now it's time to claim my prize of these gold blocks, as well as 2 quartz slabs, which I shall not be taking with me. But that wasn't too bad. Came into a couple of piglin brutes, which were harder to deal with, but not really too bad considering I'm in full netherite and I have a bow that I can shoot them with. So for our haul, all in all, we got this, which isn't too bad at all, really. My favourites being the gilded blackstone here. We got 50, which is very nice, 2 ancient debris, and also a lodestone, which, honestly, I think I prefer rather than pigstep, because if I ever need that block for a build, it means I don't have to waste a netherite ingot on crafting it. Anyway, that's enough of this place and the nether as a whole. It's time to head back home, and we can say goodbye for this episode. So there we go, everybody. That is going to do it for today's episode. I really hope you've enjoyed watching and you like how the base is now looking with all of these beautiful custom spruce trees around, as well as the pathways, of course. I myself could not be happier, so I hope you guys like it too. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.